There is a lot of work to be done. This is year end, and that should never be taken for granted. You might not have had a good year this year. That's okay. But we're going to learn from it. We're going to see what we did, and we're going to grow from it. Hello. All right. Halloween is behind us. We are past that. Everybody's got their stomach aches from their candy. We're all done with that. My kids are all coming back down off their sugar highs. So the equilibrium is starting to find a level again. Let's put it that way. But it's always a fun holiday. It's a lot of fun. But now Halloween marks what we all know is coming. We are in the holiday season. And the holiday season means fun with the family. It means getting together with family. It also means lots of presents. A little bit of stress comes with that. Hopefully everybody's pocketbook is still nice and fat and we don't got to worry about skimping here and there. But for the business owners, we also know that means year end. It also means that we need to button up the last bits. We're going to put a pin in 2025 and say it is done. And we are going to move on to 2026. Those two sentences I just said has so much work in it. There is a lot of work to be done. This is year end, and it should never be taken for granted. So much work to be done. Let me talk to you about the items that you should be focusing on right now for your year end so you can come away doing well. You might not have had a good year this year. That's okay. But we're going to learn from it. We're going to see what we did, and we're going to grow from it. So step one, you're going to need to figure out what are you actually going to close for the months of November and December and see how much product you can get out the back door and close your numbers off. If you do not have a big pipeline, you might want to seriously consider shutting down all overtime. You might want to bring your team down to 6 hours. You might want to make sure you streamline so you're not bleeding in the last 2 months. Not fun. I hate it. The suck part about being an owner, I can only empathize with you. It's a rough one. It really is. If you're doing well, do we need to bring somebody on? Do we need to get as much work in our back doors or out the back door as possible? That's another side of the coin here. Maybe you should be thinking about hiring somebody through the holiday season. There is a lot of people that understand that when they get hired on towards the end, it is a holiday shift schedule. And in January, they're going to slow back down. People are used to it. I can't tell you how many friends, even in my age, in our late 40s, they know that if they get hired seasonal, they know it's just a seasonal gig and they're okay with it. So don't be afraid as an owner to bring somebody on knowing that it might only be a 2 or 3 month gig. That's not a big deal. But you guys need to figure out and finalize what work is going to add out the back door and what are your final numbers going to be. Now, as you project those last 2 months based on the last 10 months, you should have a pretty good feel about what your net profit is. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of giving all my income to Uncle Sam because I showed revenue. So I need to think about what I'm going to do with that money. You're going to need to look at what equipment you need to buy before year end. You're also going to need to figure out what equipment you need to replace because it's houred out before year end. And if you buy the equipment before December 31st, you're going to be able to take off the profit, put it in a piece of machinery. You need to buy the machinery anyway. No reason to pay taxes on that money and then buy the machinery in January. So take a look, take stock, talk to your team. What do they need? Does your design team need new computers? Are they outdated? They're growing slow and they're watching the spinning beach ball of death versus getting work done. Maybe it's time to replace them. Crane truck tires, maybe it's time to replace those. Any inspections you need, trying to replace those. Your air compressor, when's the last time you had that service and dialed in? Maybe it's time for a new air compressor. Those are 10 to 15 grand, but those are something you need. So you're going to be looking at your equipment next. What do we need to buy and what needs to happen? Now, I will tell you this, I got insanely lucky and there was a sign shop going out of business right down the street from me. Walked over there. It was a one-man band. He had bought a 5x10 router. He bought a 4-foot-by-4-foot laser. He had a beautiful dust collection system for his router. The whole system was beautiful. He's bankrupt. He flat out said it. He goes, I screwed up. I bought too much, not enough incoming money, and I should have middlemanned it, and I didn't. And I got to get out from under this stuff. So I got super lucky and I picked up a $90,000 router for 36 grand. I picked up a brand new 2024 4x4 laser Fusion Pro. Um, Comes around 50 grand, I'm guessing, brand new. And he just goes, take over the payments. He owed 34. So I got super lucky. I was able to bag some stuff, start looking for the deals. We talked about the recession in the last episode. It's here. It's coming. Some people always feel it a year earlier. There are people that didn't make good choices, and there's stuff for pennies on the dollar. So even though you need to replace your equipment, don't go out and buy brand new. You can be smart about where you put your funds. So there's something on that one. Now, we've got to know where our income is. We know where our money's at. Next thing that's always dreaded, and we hate it with a passion, physical inventory count. Now, if you guys are running Square Coil, you guys are in great shape. Go to records, go to physical inventory count, print out each section, mark it up, and then give it back to the team. And away they go. They will, go out there, count, give it back to your accountant and compare. 2 teams, 2 counters, look at the counts, make sure they're accurate. And then once the counts are accurate, then you can put them in the system and away you go. So physical inventory count, super important. You're going to have that adjusting journal entry in your books, and then it's going to accurately reflect how much inventory you have on the floor. It sucks. It's a pain in the butt, but hey, this is what it takes. Just want to take a moment to talk about Square Coil here. Square Coil has been powering the signage industry since 2011, and we're only growing bigger and better and stronger every single day. Some of the latest updates have just made my life a lot easier. I'm sure it's going to make your life a lot easier. So if you haven't checked us out, go ahead and get on our website, squarecoil.com. Take a look. And if you have an outdated key, an old software program that's going to be closing its doors this year, definitely take a look at us because we can make that transition real simple for you. Take a look, squarecoil.com. All right, physical inventory count is done. We know what we're buying. Now we need to start closing the books. So you're going to have to close the books out and make sure that everything's done. Now, the part that sucks is if you're an owner, you need to pull your money out and cash that check before the last day of the year. Now, you're usually going to take it out in a bonus. You might take it out through a different corporation, so it's capital gains. However you're set up for your tax strategy, that's completely up to you. But you're going to have to close those books before that month ends so you know exactly how much money of profit is in your company that you can take out. For me, personally, I leave around 20 to 30 grand of clean money in my company every single year. And that's what I pay taxes on. Everything else I pull out before year end because I don't want to be double taxation. Yes, I am a C Corp. I've been around for a long time, so C Corp works best. If you're an LLC, that's a pass-through, a whole lot easier. But for me with a C Corp, it has to happen every single time. So things to think about on year end, things that you should be looking at. And then once you got all that done or you got it set up as an owner, you can't just look behind the boat. You have to look in front of the boat. Forecasting. Sit down. What is your budget for 2026? What are you going to be forecasting? What are your next goals for 2026? How are you going to push your team? Are all your salespeople tapped? Do you need to hire more salespeople? Are you running a little bit fat and maybe it's time to cull or hurt a little bit so you have better profit margins? What is your goals for 2026? Is it growth? Is it better defining what you're manufacturing? Maybe you should niche down. Maybe we shouldn't take the car wraps. Maybe we should look for installs better. Maybe that's better suited for our company or vice versa. You need to forecast and push your company and then in a good direction that's going to move forward. So 2026 and forecasting projections, you need to start looking at that. And this is the time you're going to start talking to your sales staff and say, hey, what are your clients doing for 2026? Start having those conversations with your clients. Hey, Mr. Banker, do you plan on doing any acquisitions in 2026? You guys are going to bunker down for the storm that's coming? What's your guys' plan? Start having those conversations with your clients so you can figure out what they're doing. If you have a whole bunch that say, hey, I'm looking for acquisitions and you do a bunch of bank signage, all right, that's going to be a good one for you. So there's a lot out there that you're going to want to be looking for, and then you're going to put those projections together. You're going to put your budgets together. Then now you're starting to sit pretty. Now you're starting to look good for 2026. That's a lot. Year end's always a lot. There's a lot on the table, and do me one favor. Do the best you can to balance family life and work life. I know as an owner, there's so much at year end. What I just said is daunting. There's a lot to go there. But your kids, your families, your wife, your husbands, they love you too. So that work-life balance is going to be very, very difficult. But hey, you signed up to be an owner, so suck it up. Here we go. Talk to you guys next week.